I mean it, especially those moments. And especially for those moments when this campaign was at its lowest ebb, the African-American community stood up again for me. You've always had my back, and I'll have yours.
By the end of Biden's term, that statement will go down as one of the greatest bold-faced lies ever told to the black community by a president. So far, we've watched the Biden administration deliver $31 billion to the Native American community, sign a multitude of executive orders addressing core issues surrounding the Hispanic, LGBTQ, and AAPI community. And let's not forget about that extra $49.5 million Biden threw in for the AAPI community as a little added bonus. Nor should we forget about the $4 billion that Biden called for to fix immigration issues by sending that money to El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras to help decrease violence, corruption, and poverty. Meanwhile, Biden privately told the Congressional Black Caucus, you can forget about reparations, but here goes some George Floyd statues. And I'll even throw in a couple holidays for you. Here's Juneteenth, Hip Hop Celebration Day, Hip Hop Recognition Month, and Hip Hop History Month, just to name a few. Now, if you're really good and help us with the 2022 midterm election, we just might put Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill. And just to give you a little incentive, starting January of next year, we're going to put Maya Angelou on the back of a quarter. Now, you know what's really crazy about all this? We're only 8 months in on a 4-year term. This is only the beginning. And by the looks of it, Biden doesn't appear to be slowing down with the money and legislation for every other group but Black Americans. This past Tuesday on September 7th, Biden called for $6.4 billion to help with resettling vulnerable Afghans in the United States. President Biden is asking Congress for billions in additional funding to help with natural disasters and aid for Afghan evacuees. The White House wants $24 billion in additional funding to help recovery efforts for the California wildfires and several hurricanes, including Hurricane Ida. Biden administration officials are also asking for $6.4 billion to help with resettling vulnerable Afghans in the United States. The money to resettle vulnerable Afghans come as the Biden administration estimates that 65,000 will be brought to the U.S. by the end of the month, and an additional 30,000 would arrive over the course of the next 12 months. This money is certainly critical to make sure that we are fulfilling this bipartisan commitment to our Afghan allies and partners, a senior administration official said Tuesday on a call with reporters. That money includes $2.4 billion for the Defense Department, $1.3 billion for the State Department for help with refugee resettlement, $815 million for U.S. aid for humanitarian assistance, $193 million for the Department of Homeland Security's U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service to ramp up its capacity to process Afghans and put them on the pathway to legal permanent residence, and $1.7 billion for the Health and Human Services Department to help Afghans build new lives in the U.S. Now, isn't this supposed to be unconstitutional to set aside funds and resources on the basis of race? I mean, that's the excuse that's been used to freeze the relief funds that Black farmers are in critical need of, isn't it? But when it comes to other groups, look at how the money just flows without resistance. Look at how Biden is able to publicly call on $6.4 billion to help resettle roughly around 95,000 vulnerable Afghans in the United States, yet completely ignored and shut out the idea of paying the last 2 to 3 remaining survivors of the Tulsa Race Massacre reparations. Now, it sure wouldn't have cost $6.4 billion to do that, but he wouldn't even entertain that idea. Now, reparations aside, there are a multitude of issues within the Black community that a small concentration of $6.4 billion could help to rectify. One example of this would be building tech hubs specifically for children between the ages of 5 and 18, similar to what's being done throughout the continent of Africa with STEM Cafe. This is a tech hub where children learn the tech skills necessary in order to prepare themselves for the coming digital age. This could easily be replicated throughout the Black community all across America for $16.4 billion. But then again, I guess that would be a little too much like right now, wouldn't it? When it comes to the Democratic Party and the black community, the DNC understands that they will never, ever, ever, ever have to deal with the consequences of ignoring black politics. The problem that we have in our community is our inability or unwillingness to deliver consequences. When will the black community actually start delivering consequences to the Democratic Party for their overt anti-black racism? This upcoming midterm, the Democratic Party should get completely annihilated, and that annihilation should come by the lack of support of the black community. That's what should happen. But in order for that to happen, Black America is going to have to
wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up out of your sleep.
At this stage in the game, one of two things are going to happen. We're either going to wake up or we're going to die in our sleep. It's that simple. And that is the purpose of these videos, is to get us to wake up before we've reached a point of no return. And that point of no return is approaching quickly. So with all that being said,
wake up!
And please make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. All social media links will be pinned in the comment section below. Also, make sure you text tdhiphop to number 33222. That's tdhiphop to number 33222. That way you'll get a direct text notification whenever I release a new video, but it also serves as a protection plan for myself in case YouTube ever gives this channel the axe. I'll be able to send you a direct link to where you can find me next. And last but certainly not least, for those of you who have a love and appreciation for the work that I put in on this channel, the number one way you can show your support is through Patreon. For only $3 a month, that helps put me in position to be able to take TD Hip Hop Media off of YouTube. Remember, the goal is not to grow big on YouTube, but to grow independent of YouTube. And lastly, please make sure not to forget and join the emailing list if you haven't done so already. There is no way that I can go independent of YouTube if I cannot take the audience with me, so that is very critical. Thank you for your time, and until the next video, peace.